Food. We need food. We love food. We eat it even when we do not need it. Food is great. I mean, if you do not like food, then you must be a literal psychopath. I mean, how can you not like it? They can be juicy, sour, sweet, savory, or anything you want. Have you guys ever dreamed about eating something so delicious, so mouth-watery, something so breathtaking that will make you have so much pleasure that your mind cannot handle it? So who doesn't like an orgasm? Who wouldn't like it if someone made food so good that it made you have a better orgasm than your mate? Well, at least that's my dream, and being crushed by Boa's thighs. The show I'm about to talk about is one of my personal favorites, and that is Music-Yirsi Dragon Maid in their one episode. Wait, wrong show. One show. My bad. I know when I made a mistake. The real show we're talking about is Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars. Food Wars is a show about the main character who thinks he's all of that and thinks that he doesn't need to go to a cooking school because his mastery of the orgasm is at its peak. And the main man, the big man himself, is named Soma Yukihira, and by God is this man a legend. Soma is raised by one of the greatest chefs to ever lived, his father, Joichiro Yukihira. We were introduced to him in the first episode, having a cook-off against his father, and proceeds to lose for the 500th time. And we saw what this series was about when we see the lady moaning just by how delicious a piece of meat was. Then, realizing how awful technical Cementai is. Some would think that he is already at the level of the base shots, the bros. He thinks that he does not need to improve. So his father, being the respectful father, sends him off to boarding school. I mean, Toski Academy, which is just, a culinary school, which is a school where famous chefs are made, new techniques are forged, new friends are assembled, and where your dreams die. I know that is dark, but they have a literal training arc in a fancy hotel that all they do is cook. They cook in their sleep. They don't sleep. They only cook. Cook is life. And of course, with his father's wishes, someone went there to apply. He made Erina moan over something so basic as a bowl of scrambled eggs, then gets rejected to just get accepted by the headmaster. He saw the level of moan that he was able to produce from Erina just from a simple bowl of scrambled eggs. He's like, this kid has potential to be one of the greatest orgasm chefs ever. He's gonna make everyone moan off just the smell in 1 year. Someone at the start of the series did not know how much he needed to improve, how much of the gap there was. He didn't fully realize that until the training arc. During this, his mindset was just that he would be the number one. He would be number one in this school and not have any real challenge. All he thought was this was going to be pointless. What was there for him to improve on? And at this school, if there's stuff to improve on, why go to this school? Can't you just teach me, father? But of course, time improves all of us, and he begins to gain friends. He starts to develop a bigger passion for cooking. And like I said, he saw that he needed to improve. And of course, the match that made him see it was against Kojiro Shinomiya, where he helped Megami face off against the former first seed of the 79th generation. And he realized the gap when he lost. And he saw what the level of the dude was on. Someone needed to realize the gap to improve. He needed to know what to do to improve. He needed someone to kick his ass and bring him down a peg. Through his early journey, he made friends, rivals, love interests, and most importantly, made a girl wet out of the sheer presence of his meat. Dude, have you seen how he cooks the meat? Beats the meat, slices said meat. Someone knows how to put the right meat inside a girl's mouth. The best part about Soma is that he believes in true gender equality.
Like Cosmo once said from Konosuba, every woman and man should be treated equally. I should be able to dropkick a woman without any hesitation.
He makes everyone experience the pleasure of his food. I mean, this man would slap Goku in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? Someone puts out a bowl of scrambled eggs, Goku will be heading to the heavens just off the sheer, immense aura of pleasure someone would give him. Soma can make a male and female go through the real heat. If you cannot tell already, I love Soma Yukihira. I love how arrogant he is, I love how caring he is, and I just love hearing him say, I mean, goddamn. It brings a tear down my eye every time. One of my favorite moments in the series, and probably the moment that made me fall completely in love with the series and Soma, was during the training arc, when they were forced to serve 200 plates to pass the exam, and if you failed, you were kicked out of the school. The task was simple. You just made breakfast food with the main source being eggs. That was the challenge. The entire brand of it was just to serve an egg-based dish to customers. Soma originally thought that this task would not be easy, but wouldn't be tough either. He figured that he could make his special egg souffle and just pass. The day of the challenge begins. Him being as confident as always starts making his dishes. Then he encountered the biggest problem of his life. They became flat. Just like Taiga. He had to figure out the best way to draw customers in, and with something so flat, let's just say no one was interested. I mean, why would you go for something so flat when you have something so busty right by it in an egg benedict made by the god tongue and the best wife ever in a knockery? But when all hope is lost, someone pulls the unthinkable, grabs this little kid with the smell of his food, makes her love it, then bring over 2 other females that get wet by the sheer smell of it. Soma goes into full chaos mode and starts putting on a show for the customers, even though he only served about 10 plates and only had about 30 minutes left to serve 200. He did not give up. He doesn't give up. He puts on the show to bring people in. While putting on the show, he is putting all of his strength, all of his energy into completing this challenge. He is moving so fast that he is moving near the speed of light just because of his, sheer talent, sheer knife skills. Honestly, I could not believe how fast he was moving. It was shocking even to Erina. He was moving so quickly he accomplished the 200 plate challenge. And the only way this man could possibly have this much energy, this amount of speed, he must have been drinking some type of energy drink or something. Something like G Fuel maybe. Yeah. Do you guys remember that one episode where Soma got so exhausted he said, "Oh man, I'm so tired. Luckily I have my G Fuel with me, and it's my favorite flavor too, cherry limeade." Which also leads me to my sponsor, and co-bridge with G Fuel. If you want to support one of the greatest humans beings on this earth, the Chad himself, Lord D. Brigo, then why don't you get some G Fuel and make your life better and his by using code BRAIDS. Plus, if you decide to support him, not only will you be supporting this man, who is absolutely breathtaking, but you will also get a nice crisp 10 to 30% off your order, which is quite a bit of money saved, and it just boosts his chances of getting his own shaker or even his own flavor of G Fuel. Can you imagine having amazing flavors like Chadley Berry, Chad Energy, Kuma Crusher, or even Chad Lemonade? So why don't you guys all do yourself a favor and gather up some energy, go on your computer, and order some G Fuel using code BRIDGE to get 10 to 30% off your next order. And remember to support the biggest, the ultimate, the legend, Brigo. Soma, after that moment, signified him as one of my favorite characters in anime, just because of the amount of effort he had to put into surviving the round. Then you have him going up against Hayama and Ryo, which he gives all of his effort to bring out his best dish that just ends up not being enough and results in his defeat. Someone then realized a major problem with his cooking. It was not his own style. It was someone else's style. He hadn't figured out his own version of style he needed to make that big improvement. Until Shinomiya made a competition for someone to compete in to have an item added to the menu. This is the moment where someone finds his own style to a certain extent. He doesn't perfect it until he was on the train, but this is when the idea came to his head. The style that will allow him to take on the Elite 10, the style that would allow him to make the next step to be able to become the first seed of Tosuki Academy. Season 3 comes around. He gets into a little cook-off at a school festival against the AC in Torani Kuga. This was for the ability to challenge him to a Shokugeki for his seat. Soma ends up technically winning, which then leads into the arc where Erina's father comes into town and takes over the school, the usual. Then, after a few episodes, the new 7th seat, Aizen was getting ready to destroy the dormitory where Soma lived, the usual. And of course, the only way to really beat him is to challenge him to a Shokugeki and win it, with, Aizen rigs the judges with money and shit, so you cannot win against him. Okay, that is not usual. So of course, Soma does the smart thing and decides to challenge him. Soma, I love you, but this is not the way, Chief. Wait, who won? Soma won! How in the freaking hell did he do that? So that leads me into another one of my favorite moments of Soma, and that was when Soma and Aizen get into their battle, and before Soma even started to cook, they were preparing to vote for Aizen, before Soma was even done. Soma stops them with something special, something only Soma can do. Soma uses his dickish personality to get onto Aizen and infuriate him. This entire bout just tells me how much I love Soma and his attitude. Soma wins the bout by making the rigged judges who were bought out wet off the aromas and the taste. You do not understand the flats. Soma won against Aizen, who bought out the judges by the smell of his food. The judges had the greatest amount of pleasure that they only could vote for Soma and blew out Aizen 3-0. I still cannot believe it. Now you understand why this moment alone would make Soma one of the biggest fletzers in anime. And the only way he could even come close to beating Aizen was because of Blue Chug Red G Fuel that he used with code BRIDGE to get 30% off his order. Soma is nothing but a Chad. I thoroughly enjoy him as a character. Who do you know that can destroy judges with just pure pleasure? He has the balls to challenge the former first seed, his dad, who is almost the #1 chef of the world, and of course the first sheet of the current era. This man has all the balls in the world. Directly after that, Azami decided to go on a killing spree and, eliminate the deviants by doing a bunch of exams to get rid of them. Guys, Soma is officially a deviant. His deviant nature comes from him having his own style of cooking. Like, how dare you actually cook with your own style? Patooey! During the third part of the exam, he faces off against Hayama, who is now in the 10th seat. The epic rematch is about to start. The Cinnamon Man versus the red-haired Chad. Who will win? Who will lose? And who will cook for me? And I think they use either bear or moose, something like that. They use something insane for this match. And it was really hardcore. One of the best matches in Shokugeki. But of course, Soma wins. He wins with his improvement by developing his own style. And because of this style, he does become the first seed of Tosuki, like he said later on. But him realizing that he needed to improve during the first and second season was exactly the motivation he needed to become #1. Soma has so many amazing moments under his belt, such as making a complete entree for an appetizer, which is just this pile of freaking meat, and telling Azami that they will win because Erina was past this dish. Soma and the other Elite 10 members built a shack and then decimated the competition. Soma making Erina come, okay, that's a wrap. You have crossed a boundary where no man should cross. You are evicted from YouTube. You have lost all your respect. You have lost all friendships. And was it all worth it? Why, of course, the joke had to be made. Come on, Soma and Eren are practically married now. The one thing we should all take from Soma is that we should persevere when the going gets tough, when all seems lost, to never give up like he does time and time again. Those moments I talk about were my favorite Soma moments, as well as him improving and persevering. Even when he loses, he never really loses if he doesn't give up. When we go to Black Clover even, look at Asa when he had his arm paralyzed or whatever after the curse and he couldn't move it. Yes, it sucked, but he realized that it doesn't matter. If I give up, then I truly lose. So he doesn't give up and constantly just yells, saying that he's never going to actually give up. The person who gives up and decides to quit just because of it being rough is a true loser. We can all be like someone. We can all persevere. We can all improve. And finally, we can all make people orgasm over the smell of our meat.